Good evening, guys. Sunday evening here, Danish, in Denmark, and we will be looking into shipping. I think this will be a long video because we have now the Baltic Dry Index, we have tankers, we have the gas vehicles as well. It will be a long video, so bring out your coffee and your best move, and we're going to look at a market or a sector that is really, really strong at the moment. With that said, I have two, entries or trades, investment, whatever, in two of the stocks now, so I cannot promote them here. They have been sent out to the private or the members of the YouTube channel and on the private Twitter account. If you want to have access to that, you can check it out on my page, how to get access. On my front YouTube page, you should have a member button. So with that said, BDRY, the Baltic Dry Index, still continuing after that mega retest of that neckline and the lows there for the pits or the shoulders. Again, very strong move here, back above the 30 weekly. Very strong price action for the Baltic Dry Index, really. And the big money show really comes if we get above here, if we get above there, obviously. For this massive inverted head and shoulders, you also have a smaller one right here. So looks incredibly well here for the BDI. The BDRY, that is the ETF for dry bulk shipping. Ever since we basically broke out here, massive retest, it has been in one-way street. So now we have support at roughly 10, and we have mega resistance here at roughly 19, yeah, right here. So my take is we have the 30 weekly coming up here. We are going to, one way or the other, hit that $19 level. And I think we could get a somewhat of a big resistance or, rejection there, because this was the mega breakdown here back in 2022. So definitely look out for that one here, what will happen there. I'm just going to add in here if there is anything. Okay, that's broken as well. That's beautiful. Again, just confirming the massive uptrend here, really. So the dry bulk shipping looks incredibly well. So now let's get into some of the individual ones there. Nothing new here, really, ever since we broke that shoulder head trend line, we have actually, because there were a inverted head and shoulders in play with the target down here, but clearly after breaking out, bull flagging a bit, we went off to the races, and now we're charging the two shoulder highs at roughly 25.5. Great week, by the way. 30 weekly coming up nicely, lovely. CTRM, we cannot do that, obviously, as mentioned before. GLBS, we had that mega squeeze that just initially, had the pop there. We have some big resistance in this level here, and now we are in a premature bull flag. It's not quite convincing yet, but let's see how it unfolds. But definitely, this one is bullish consolidation until proven otherwise. The 30 week is coming up nicely here. So if we get a move up to there, I mean, GLBS could be in for a massive move. SB, as mentioned, we cannot go into that one. Ship. Good old ship. Golden trend line broken together with that blue horizontal inverted head and shoulders. There it is. Boop. And it has basically been a one-way street ever since. Yes, we did come down and tag that, retested that line many times. Looking at the daily though, you can see here we have now a continuation up there. Big volume coming in, daily candles, massive green, lovely. Ship looks absolutely amazing. And is now charging this level here. It's roughly in this vicinity, 8.4, and depending on how you draw them, roughly 8.5. But I do think we will smash it though. D-Nord here, I want to show you. Before we had a parallel channel here, but I changed it because we actually only have one due to the fact how this morphed up here. So we have one here, and we're actually breaking that green support last week. Not ideal. The 30 weekly is right here. What is still positive is that we're in this bull flag. So let's see how it acts there. Maybe we need that third leg lower low, and then we can hopefully grind higher. But definitely losing that green uptrend is not ideal. Again, it's not all over yet. Depending on how you break such a massive trend line, if you just go sideways out, that's usually also very bullish. You don't want to see big moves, and then it's probably game over for a long time. But given how the overall shipping sector is, I still think this is very bullish. You just need to wait for some sort of confirmation of that bull flag to break in the same direction as the trend. EGLE, Also here, you can see there, this actually triggered a few weeks ago. Massive buy right there. Again, 30 weekly coming up nicely. It doesn't pay a dividend? No, it doesn't really. But anyways, ever since we broke that small term golden pennant or squeeze here, we are now targeting, if I zoom way out, a massive long-term trend line. And it comes in at roughly, let's call it 995 or give or take, depending on how we get there. I do think we will get there, and then we should probably have some sort of, triple, maybe down to these lows here, and then we can blast higher for the fourth touch. But definitely very bullish here. 30 weekly, as mentioned, coming up insanely well. So again, the trend is strong. ESEA came into the bull flag high right there. Very often that is resistance. Sellers, the short-term momentum sellers are getting out, and we're having a pullback right now. Very standard, still the trend is strong. There's nothing really to say about this here. Massive move here, a bull flag, and yeah, basically just some profit taking here at that bull flag high. Nothing fancy. GNK also with a great here. This is a classic, breakout retest of the 30 weekly, but also that sideways green channel there. It has been a one-way street ever since. Please note that we're coming to some resistance right now. So let's see how it acts upon that resistance. It is kind of big, but it is my take that if we get a rejection, let's say, that rejection should get bought up. If we get a bull flag and you buy that breakout of that bull flag or any other setup that you get here, very strong, still very, very strong. You can also see here that we have a lot of volume coming in, and we are seeing some big spikes here. Usually some sort of, not the end of the long-term trend, but this move here, could be having that tiny blow off top, and then we could get a pullback, and then we blast higher. Again, let's see what happens here. But again, on the weekly side, it's still very early. So again, this resistance here, we could blast straight through it. So let's see how we act here for the week to come. But I do think overall, this week or in 4 weeks, that level will break at roughly $20 a piece. Google back very strongly into the bear flag, huge, very bullish, that it negated all this bull flag and all that good stuff. So ever since the trigger was there, we talked about it, it has been a one-way street. So incredibly strong here, and this one is still, again, if we get pullbacks, they should be bought up really. You shouldn't be buying this late into a move. That's just my honest opinion. This late into a move here, you can see you have the triangle right there. And yeah, definitely, usually you see a pop here, and usually they don't last. They are end of move kind of stuff here. So I do think we will have some sort of pause. But overall, the weekly, the monthly is incredibly, incredibly strong still. I just think that we on the daily could get some pullbacks. Again, and in my honest opinion, if we get them, they should be bought up. DSX, again, one of the actually more or less the only company that's not performing well, and that's always a concern when you have an overall sector that is doing very well, and then you have one name that just stands out and just keeps going down. So again, nothing new here really. It has a lot of technical damage to get it back above before it's any good. But in my view, there are a lot of others candidates that are way better right now. So I wouldn't spend that much time on it in my personal opinion. Boat here, want to look at boat here. That is the Sonic Share Global Shipping ETF. Again, long-term golden trend line broken there with a gap up. You are obviously on that news regarding the shipping crisis and so on. But ever since, look at that, very, very textbook bull flag. This is, in my view, bullish consolidation before we blast higher. And again, that will pull up everything with it, really. Really strong here. Personally, I will say this, though, I would have preferred, like a third touch, and then we go. That is some textbook stuff. But hey, you cannot get that all the time. This is still incredibly bullish. The only reason I can see this gap getting closed is maybe if they somehow solve the issues, with the shipping things going on in the Middle East. So yeah, Maersk here, that is a major Danish company. Still very bearish. It did crash heavily 3 weeks ago. You can see here we had a gap down here on earnings. And basically, if I were to get in, I would be buying that mega trend line coming in here. That is just a great entry, roughly, let's call it 9,400 give or, plus minus. They pay a hefty dividend. Well, not as hefty as it were. They had like 20, now they're down to 5. But still, in my view, down here, they have come down. If we get there, 62%, major shipping company. And yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to buy a little here for the long-term dividend portfolio for Maersk, really. I think we have already had 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be a 5th. And I do think if we get that, I mean, how many? Usually 3 is the end, right? And then you had a 4th, and now a 5th. So again, I would happily buy here at roughly 9,400, 9,500. TNP struggling with our overall resistance zones between 23 and 24. When we came up, we marked this as resistance. What's really bullish is actually this here. So if we start to see some movement here, that is just a massive inverted head and shoulders after a golden trend line breakout. Fantastic stuff. That's all I can say. That's just lovely. TNK, that was TNP, excuse me. Yeah, TNK, excuse me. Also, same thing here. We came into, whoops, our red resistance zone here. We're getting a bit of rejection here because people are taking profits here. Makes total sense. Overall, we have broken this overall macro formation here with 3 spikes, lower lows, and then we're breaking out. So this has more to come. And in my view, you wait for the break of roughly 67 or some sort of, if we get some pullbacks like we're getting now, and maybe we go all the way down to here, that would be a great entry. The stop loss can easily be placed below the triangle right there. So, but again, overall, the trend is very strong. 30 weekly is pumping. The monthly here is also insanely strong still. Big angle. So again, you should go down to the daily maybe and see if you can time some sort of entry here. If we were to look at it here, I can see that we have a bear flag coming in roughly around here. That's the bear flag, and we can make that projection and see how low that should go. So that measured move is roughly at 51. Again, you don't know if that is the end of the move, but at least we have an ABC. Maybe it morphs into an AB, to 1 to 5 correction. But definitely, I think we are finding support at roughly 50, 51. Small term support at least. TORM here, also coming down again to visit that upper bull flag here. So as long as we're above here, just playing around, just stay here for a long time, recharge, and then we can go. Dropping below and the 30 weekly, that's a warning sign. By any metrics, that should be taken with a huge caution. So INS, weird chart in my view. It's just, 30 weekly coming up here. Now we are doing I have no idea what this actually is. I don't know what to make of this stock here. Again, the only thing I can say is if we get down to the blue here, you can buy that and have a stop loss below. But anything else, this is a bit weird. So if you're uncertain about the chart or the trade, it's a big no. Just don't do it. There's plenty of options really. DHT. Yeah, we bought in here and we bought the breakout there. And as you can see right now, we're having what looks like a false breakout here. I'm not calling it, for now it is a false breakout, but we haven't taken out that candle low. Maybe I should zoom in so you can see it. That candle low right there, it's still intact. So if we start to break down from here, especially taking out the 30 weekly, the green massive uptrend, and that low on a weekly basis, then I will exit both my positions really, because then there's no more. I mean, the risk to the downside is bigger than the upside. You can always re-enter if this is then you get back above the red. You can always re-enter. It's no big deal. You lose 5% of that trade, but who cares? You don't want to be in from here and then you go all the way down to 8 or maybe even further. But again, the overall shipping sector is remarkably strong. So I'm still very bullish, even though this is not ideal, obviously. So STNG is closing in within our yellow uptrend right there. Yellow uptrend still intact. Testing that level high here. You can see it all the way across there. So as long as we're above, incredibly bullish. However, we're coming into that 85 level very soon. Here we are at 67 and 85 roughly. 83, excuse me, roughly is big resistance due to that mega resistance coming in there. So that's the one here. I wouldn't be buying into here long term. Only if you were to place some sort of stop loss below the uptrend or the 30 weekly. But yeah, the big break or the big entry comes when and if we break here. So ideally, we just want this to go up and then just recharge for a long time, and then it can give us a perfect base for the next jump higher. NAT, I will not go into NAT because it's a weird chart. You have been hearing that many times. FRO, last week or the 2 weeks before, we had that green candle. Now we're retesting that breakout from above. Let's see how it acts here. We're still within the golden uptrend. I say the same every week because FRO or Frontline PLC has been incredibly strong, just trending, and every pullback has been, bought up really. And if we leave this huge ceiling of that major base down here, that's just incredibly strong. I will notice this, that we have a possible, major long-term inverted head and shoulders. And if that is the case, then we are to see some sort of pullback here. And then we go higher. So again, that's also why I'm saying don't buy into it here. Just wait for this to unfold. But again, the trend is so goddamn strong that, yeah, let's see. But it has been strong, and the dividends are well paid, 12%. SIM, the good old SIM Salabim here. Simple setup, long-term channel, there it is. And finally, we broke out from that, retested all the way up to the highs here. What I'm eyeing here, and I have been saying that for the past 4 weeks maybe, is that possible inverted head and shoulders. We are finding buyers here, so we are maybe making that, but we will know when it happens, right? And then we can buy that breakout there with a tight stop loss below, and you have a huge risk reward there. So join the channel here as a member. You will get the trigger in real time, more or less real time. I will send it out to members. So if you don't sit and look at the charts every day, that is definitely an option for you. LPG, so this is over into the LNG, so that's the natural gas, liquefied natural gas tankers. LPG here, I consider this for now as, the final blow off, and then we will probably do like this. I'm not interested in a chart that has came this far and looks this, hockey stick like. I'm not interested in it at all. That ship has sailed, and basically we have other things to look at. CLCO, it only goes back roughly 1 year, but basically we have a channel here. If you're interested in this company, you just wait for the break there of that golden channel there. Roughly, that will happen at roughly around 12. So that's basically that. Very simple. We have a channel. If it breaks to the upside, you buy it. You have a stop loss at the recent swing low, keeping it simple. NFE, that's New Fortress Energy. Whoa. Still, long term looks incredibly strong. Short term, there might be some warnings, but anyways, we have it here. It looks a bit like the silver chart, doesn't it? But we have this line going here, very well defined, and then I copied for the parallel to here. So basically what we're looking at here right now is, I want to go to the daily actually. So we left this base right here, roughly in this vicinity, and if we get a break above here, I find that incredibly bullish. Higher high, major higher high, major higher low. So very soon here, if we get above, let's call it roughly 30, 32.5-ish, then that's incredibly bullish. Tight stop loss below, bull flag, and we could go actually all the way up to 65 here for the NFE. Again, if we start to lose momentum here and we start to dribble down and losing what potentially is a bear flag here, you can also, I want to show you, I think you can also extend this to some extension. And there you actually have a overall bear flag. So again, we have a lot of negation to do. So again, short term, it's a bit iffy, but let's see where it goes. There's definitely some opportunities. Gas, again here, I just want to point out the low risk reward to entry is not up here. The low risk reward is when we broke that here, clearly you can see you were getting stopped out here. But ever since, we actually started to form that. So again, if you bought here, yes, you would have gotten stopped out. But then again, the big entries came here with that squeeze and then that final blow off there, or that final move out there. So again, nat gas, the tankers, and the commodity itself is very, very erratic. You don't get, precise lines. Here it's actually quite nice. Funny enough, until 2020, when nat gas went ballistic. So NVGS, that is Navigator Holdings. Is this natural gas? Liquefied? Yeah, it is. Excuse me, I just got word confused there for a second. Iffy chart, in my view, again, it does not. There are two things that can happen here. Basically, from how I view things, we have this squeeze here, actually a mega squeeze right there, and it looks like we have had some sort of, for now at least, false breakout here. That's a buy. Getting above that false breakout high, that's a buy. If we start to get below that upper golden here, then it's a short or a sell, depending on where you are in time, really. But which way we go here will be very, very explosive. The move down will be very explosive, and this one will also be very, very explosive. We are coiled up like a madman here, and yeah, let's see which direction it goes. But you do have some mega resistance here. I just saw over there. You can see there it is, there it is. So again, basically this could be that this is just the retest of that line. So if we get back above here, I mean, that's just incredibly bullish. Incredibly, incredibly strong. Again, this is BWLLE, weird looking chart. Actually, I only have one line on basically, and that's that one here. I don't know what to make of this. I just deleted that line here because maybe we are forming a topping pattern, and head and shoulders here, maybe. Again, iffy chart. You can see here that we have low liquidity due to these candles there, so I wouldn't be that interested in it here. Energy transfers, this is ET, the last one. Very simple setup in my view. I want to go to the monthly because maybe that's a bit more easy to see for you. So what we have here is a major ceiling, that golden trend line there. And we're coming into that more or less as we speak, within a huge, what's that, 3.5-year long rising wedge. Again, same as one of the previous ones here, that either is going to pop heavily to the upside, or it's going to probably correct heavily. A lot of things will happen here, but whatever will happen again will be very, very volatile. The long-term trend is up. So you have that going. You have the bearish wedge here into big resistance. The weekly is also, you can see here, coiled up heavily. And again, let's see what unfolds here. Should you be a buy right here? In my view, absolutely not. Again, that would be a gamble. Buy the breakout again with the stop loss, or you can short that one here again with stop loss here. When we come into an apex, this is an apex of a triangle. You very often see, head fakes or fake outs. So definitely look out for that. Same thing if you have how can I explain it? If you have some sort of flat triangle here, and if you have price coming all the way in, often you can actually see, then people short and then it will snap higher, or vice versa. It does that. So again, into the apex, you see a lot of volatility, and that should also be expected here for this company. A long video, as I mentioned at the start. Let's see what the week brings, but definitely last week overall, especially dry bulk, very, very, very strong. And that's also why we have bought one, and I just sent out an entry or a setup for the other one of the others. So you know how to get into that service if you want to. Guys, have a great, great week. Let's see where it takes us. And hopefully, if we transition over to uranium, we can have a little bit of love, maybe. At least short term, it has been kind of iffy. So it is what it is, guys. Stay safe. Bye.